Good evening, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. So, Maharashtra CET examination for LLB entrance. The applications are still open. You can apply for the examination, and today I'm going to discuss the study plan and strategy for this examination. What you need to do in the coming days, and how can you target it along with other examinations with your board exams for the ones who are appearing in class 12th, and what are the special things that you need to do in order to excel in this examination. So if you have not yet applied for the examination, you can apply till 2nd of May. The deadlines have been extended for this examination. Okay. So let's see the things that you need to do in order to crack this examination. So these are the eligibility criteria. I'm sure you must have read about the eligibility criteria of this examination. Okay, anyone is who has got 45+%. So different category wise, like if you are an open category, right, and SEBC, EWS, outside Maharashtra state. So all these are eligible for these examination with minimum 45% score. Okay, and for other categories like VJNT, SBC, OBC from Maharashtra 42%, and SC and ST from Maharashtra 40%. So these are the minimum eligibility criteria. Okay, so of course you must be having much more scores than these, and these are the these are the fee of the examination form, right? So comparatively less examination fee as compared to other law entrance examinations. Okay, and like if you see CLAT and ALET, they have 4,000, 3,000. Okay, and so this is comparatively cost effective also in terms of form filling, so this won't tend you much. Now this is the examination structure, right? So in order to crack an examination, you should know the pattern and accordingly focus on the syllabus. Like for example, mathematical aptitude is just 10 out of 150 questions. Okay, so not even 10% of the paper is from mathematical aptitude. Okay, so ensure that you do not spend too much time on mathematical aptitude. Right? Let us say if you are not good at mathematics, right, you need to not worry that I'm not good at mathematics, will it impact? Yes, these are some sort of bonus marks. If you are good with mathematics, maybe you can get 10 on 10. But even if you get 4 or 5 on 10, if you do well in the other sections, right, so you can cope up with that. So the ones who are not good in mathematics should not fear that examination, because the good thing is there are just 10 questions on mathematics. Okay. So if we talk about the legal aptitude, this is something that all of you must be uh, average, above average or good at, because you are law aspirants. Okay, these are the things that you must prepare regularly. General knowledge and current affairs is something that is a skill that you gain by reading newspapers. Okay, English, you should have to brush up your skills. Okay, especially the grammar and vocab. Go through the grammar rules, vocab, right? Work on these things, because that is the place where it makes difference, right? A person with good English, uh, the person who knows the grammar rules well, whose vocabulary is good, definitely does better than others in English. Okay, and then reasoning is something that requires a lot of practice. Okay, so these GK and uh, your legal aptitude, this is something that most of the aspirants are doing, right? If you are preparing for these examinations, you are focusing on this. English also you are doing. Logical and analytical reasoning is a big portion. See, 40 questions, right? 40 questions, 40 marks, that's a big chunk of the paper, right? So that means that that you have to have a lot of practice on this section, which may not be present in other examinations, right? Other examinations, the weight may be less as compared to this examination. So this requires a lot of practice, especially there are puzzles that they ask every time, like linear arrangement, circular arrangement, right? Floor based puzzles. So all those sort of, those are the things that consume time. And this examination is of 2 hours, 120 minute, you have to attempt these 150 questions. So that is the place where it will take time. For example, let us say GK, right? Either you know or you do not know the answer, right? It will not take much time. Even if you know, it will take the same amount of time. Even if you do not know, you cannot guess the answer, right? English also, vocabulary, grammar, you can do quite fast. But these are the two sections which consume a lot of time. Even legal aptitude, if they give fact and principles, you will have to read and answer. But these are the sections that consume time, so that you have to practice in order to master them. Okay, GK or current affairs, I would say balance, right? So historically, the paper has been mix of this. Let us say it could be like 15, 15, 12, 18, 13, 17. So almost half half, right? So I can say that it is 50-50. Okay, there are certain topics they ask in static knowledge like national parks, okay, stadiums, and history, right? Then geography, Indian polity, okay, the structure of the government bodies, okay, and apart from that, countries, capitals. These are some static general awareness facts that they ask, right? It's like any other examination, like you have ALET and all, right? So those kind of GK you can expect with some current affairs, okay. Now it is a 120-minute paper and there is no sectional timing. Okay, 1 mark for each correct answer and no negative marking. So one thing that you need to keep in mind is that try to attempt all questions. Okay, and it's a computer-based test. Unlike some of your examinations which are paper-based, it's a computer-based test. So you need to go to the center and wherein you have to take it online. Okay, so make sure that you practice that way. Okay. Now, some things that you need to keep in mind is you need to finish the syllabus by midway. Okay. Why the examination is on 10th June, proposed date, right? It is still tentative. It is not finalized. Uh, Most likely it will happen on 10th June. If something happens, it may get postponed, right? But till now it is 10th June because you do not see any such thing coming up. But if yes, there is some like wide spread of COVID again, right? Which we should pray that should not happen because that hampers a lot of things, right? If it gets delayed, so delayed admission, delayed exams next year, everything gets delayed. So keep this that 10th June is the examination date. So you need to finish the syllabus by mid-May. Why? Why by that time? Because the last day should be for revision. You need revision also, right? For at least like 20 plus days requires revision. So if you have not covered the syllabus yet, okay, so make sure that you go through all the topics because now which subjects require syllabus? One is mathematics. Okay, reasoning also you need to see all type of topics. Let us say blood relations, directions, coding, decoding, right? So go through all the topics once. English, complete the grammar rules, right? Read all the grammar and RCs do not require any syllabus. There is no syllabus for reading comprehension or vocabulary, right? So that is something that builds on gradually. Okay, static, try to complete. Okay, so so that is the thing that you need to keep in mind. Okay. Then what you need to do is revise the mocks, right? Let's take the mock and analyze them properly. So what we need to check in mocks is basically you attempted a question. It can be correct, it can be correct, incorrect, or you did not attempt that question. Right? There are three possibilities. Either you get a question right, either you get it wrong, or you do not attempt the question. Right? Three possibilities. So if it is correct, then it is good, but make sure that it is on time. And that is the thing that you need to focus on. That if you are taking too much time to solve a question, you need to learn that should we attempt those kind of questions or skip them or learn better techniques. Okay, so that is if you get it incorrect, there can be two possibilities. One could be your concept based, right? You do not know the concept well. Let us say there is an English question on grammar. If you get it wrong, maybe you do not know the grammar rule, or some reasoning question, your concept is not clear. Mathematics question, concept is not clear, right? So in that case, you need to uh, have the knowledge of that concept or formula or anything, right? Or second reason could be silly mistakes. There is a possibility that you know, okay, so some mathematics question, you know the formula and everything, but you make calculation mistake, right? That's a silly mistake. So that these things require revision, that you see, okay, what was the mistake that you made? You should not repeat that mistake. Okay, and if you do not attempt a question again, then could be the reason could be that your concept was not clear of that question. Right? You do not, you leave a question. Why do you leave a question? Because you do not know how to attempt a question, right? Second thing could be in this again, time factor. Okay, so suppose you did not have time to attempt a question, you left that question. Okay, so that means that in this you should see that in such scenarios you should rectify those mistakes, right? So that is why revising the mocks help you understand your strengths and weaknesses, right? So you will understand that which what are your strong areas, what are your weak areas. Accordingly you can develop strategy. Let us say you are not good with reasoning. Okay, you take time to solve questions, your accuracy is not high in reasoning. So what you can decide is, let us say there are other sections. So you will attempt other sections first, because that will give you confidence, right? You start with general awareness, you start with legal aptitude, you are strong with those sections. So start with those sections. That will give you confidence during the paper, right? And then you can move on to your weak area. So get to know your strengths and weaknesses through mock test. So proper analysis of mock test is a must. Okay, you just when you just study, you gain knowledge, right? But you build strategy when you take mock tests, analyze them thoroughly. Okay. Then in the last few days, you have to review your notes, formula sheets, etc. Okay. So make a list of mathematical formulas, right? And other topics like let us say that some grammar rules, right? So note them all at one place, right? Say you read some grammar rules, different kind of rules, you make a list of those and just revise them. So when you revise those things, that remain at the top of your head, and while attempting questions, that help you solve them fast. Okay. Now, one important thing is, some of you were saying that current affairs and all, GK में क्या करना है and all. So current affairs, please prepare for the last 6 months. Okay, by last 6 months, I mean the from the day of examination. Let us say Jan to June would be sufficient. I mean June, even not June, Jan to May, or rather December to May, that kind of, in that range if you prepare, there will be hardly few questions before Jan, right? They very likely to unlikely to ask questions from let us say September, October, right? Mostly it will be from Jan to May. So if you cover that part also, that will help you a lot. Okay. Now, what are the sources, right? If you read newspapers daily, that always helps you. That helps you build vocabulary. That helps you in the English section as well. Right. And what are the kind of news that you should look at? Right. You should not be reading page 3 news. Okay. They will not ask you that, right. Whom did Ranbir Kapoor marry? Right. So those things, do not read irrelevant stuff. Okay, what are the things that they look for? One is national affairs, right? Read about what is happening in the nation. what is happening in different states of India. Okay, did any person get appointed as the chief minister of some particular state? What happened in the elections? Okay, there were elections in 5 states. What were the results of the elections? Who were appointed as the chief ministers of different states? Right, which party won in? So those kind of knowledge. Okay, so it could be like some government projects, some important government projects launched. Okay, or any scheme launched by the government, etc. Then international affairs, right? So you should know what is happening in Ukraine, right? What is happening between Russia and Ukraine, what is happening elsewhere, what is happening in Sri Lanka. Okay, so all those facts. Now sometimes what happens is you should also read static with respect to current affairs, right? How does it uh, how do sometimes examinations ask static with current affairs is, let us say if I ask you what is the currency of Ukraine. Okay, now you must be thinking ये तो static question है, right? Because currency will remain same unless something happens, currency remains same, right? Or capital of Ukraine. Now, how is that static related to current affairs? Because there is a war going on in Ukraine, right? So you must be aware of the things related to that. What is the capital? What is the currency of Ukraine? What is the prime minister? Who is the prime minister? Who is the president? Right? So those kind of sometimes static facts are also asked from current affairs, right? So make sure that when you read current affairs, read about the relevant information from that. Okay, so those ways you can prepare some static news out of these. Then read about the economy, right? What happened with the budget? Okay, what are what is happening to the inflation rate, rising oil prices? Okay, so read about all those things. Then sports, major sports across the world, not only India but across world also, right? So if some thing happens in football or tennis, right? Grand slams, who won the different grand slams in different categories, badminton, and major sports across. Then science and technology, right? Let's say read about science missions, right? If NASA launched something, right? What is James Webb Telescope? So all those kind of things, you must have a comprehensive overview of different things. Then persons in news, right? Persons in news could be, let us say, someone became the prime minister of a country, president of a country. Okay, as I said that they might ask things related to Ukraine, right? Who is the prime minister of Ukraine? Who is the president of Ukraine? Who is the president of Russia? Okay, that might be very easy. But let us say some person appointed as let us say CEO of some company, okay, or those kind of appointments. About the judges, right? Some person appointed as chief justice of some high court or things related to that. Then international summits and conferences, right? At global level, different summits happening at different places. Which country was it held? Okay, like G20, right? Who will host G20? Even in sports, also like some sports that are going to happen. Let us say they might ask you, where will the Commonwealth Games be held? Okay, or things like where did Winter Olympics happen, right? So these things, and know about the venues also of different things. Then some miscellaneous things coming out of all these stuff, okay, related to current happenings in the world, right? If you talk about the major thing, that is awards. One is awards. Okay, who won different awards? Like what happened in the Oscars? Okay, president awards. Who were given Padma Vibhushan? Okay, and one important thing is obituaries also. You know what are obituaries? You know what are obituaries? So these are some common things that they ask, right? There might be some outliers, but mostly the questions are focused on these things. Okay, so uh, you must be aware of all these. So obituaries are basically, let us say, if some famous personality died, okay, obituaries are deaths of some people who passed away recently. So generally, uh, they ask questions on that, right? Let us say they might ask, I'll give you an example, which a question which had appeared in one of the examination, that Pandit Birju Maharaj passed away recently. Okay, so he was associated with which gharana of music? Okay, so they might ask questions like this, right? So these are the things that you must need to cover in the current affairs for the last 6 months, right? So these are the broad topics under which you must prepare. Okay, and what are the sources? There are generally like PDFs that we provide on our platform. Okay, apart from that, read newspapers. Newspapers are the best source. Now PDFs have these assorted material. Okay, so there you have all at one place, so that helps you prepare for that, right? And if you read newspapers, obviously your English also improves. Okay, so if you are preparing for CLAT 2023, we have launched a comprehensive combo course for the examination. Okay, which was launched recently, and it will go until February. And it's a 10-month duration course. It will include classes for CLAT and other low entrance examinations like ALET, Maharashtra CET, SLAT, Jamia Millia, etc. It will also come up with mock tests, previous year papers, topic tests, and doubt sessions for you. So that was about Maharashtra CT, that how you need to prepare, what are the things that you need to do, and how can you do excel in the examination, utilize the remaining days for the examination. It is not much different. Yes, examination pattern might be different, but the syllabus is same, right? So if you are preparing for other examinations, you must have prepared English, you must have prepared reasoning. Okay, here reasoning section is more, so practice accordingly, and take mock tests that help you strategize for the examination. And for the current affairs part, follow the last 5-6 months of current affairs. That should suffice. Okay, do not get too much into other things. Apart from that, your one important thing is that fact and principle based questions. Okay, fact principle based questions, because that is something that they test majorly in this examination, apart from your this thing, right? Most of the questions are fact principle based rather than knowledge based, so do practice, because for CLAD you are already practicing such questions, so make sure that you are well equipped with these kind of questions. Okay, so thanks for watching this video. Have a great day ahead. Goodbye.